So welcome back everyone, Portfolio 1 class, and today we're going to be thinking about color. Understanding color is our theme. If we jump to our overview document, we can see we're on week 2 here, color management, and I'm going to dive into the lesson plan, and hopefully we'll be able to see some examples as well as we go along. So a little bit of housekeeping first of all. Memorial Day yesterday. I hope everyone's feeling relaxed after that. Today, 3 things that we need to be thinking about. You need to respond to the email. Just hit reply, got it on that. Watch my video that you're watching right now, and please take notes as you go along. Remember the test. There's not an assignment to work on today, but you do need to go through this material and take notes because you're going to be asked test questions on it. More importantly, it's going to help with your ability to manage color, understand color, and create portfolio quality photographs. So this is an important part of your education. 2 other videos attached here. I hope I don't confuse things by giving you too much information. I'm trying to give this to you in a bite-sized chunk. And in the course and in your visual theory class as well, we're going to be thinking about color both technically and creatively, how we can use color in our photographs. The objective today, to give technical introduction to color, what we need to understand and what we need to set on our cameras in order to get it right. And getting it right is really the thing that we want to be thinking about. Getting it right is really important. When we get it wrong, color can look awful. And in a moment, we're going to come back and think about color balance. And in Photoshop, color balance is this tool that we look at. There's always a relationship between cyan and red, magenta and green, yellow and blue. And when these are off balance, our images look pretty rough. Learning to see and understand color on the screen is one part of the equation. Being able to manage and make color corrections in Photoshop and to get our prints correct is another very important part of the process. We'll come back to this in just a little while, but let's look at the lesson plan and work our way through here. So part 1, understanding color. We want to get it right. Color management, and if you're taking notes, please get your notebooks out, take notes, stop the video if you need. These are terms that you need to understand. Color management. Our definition is the management of color from capture to output. We capture an image using our camera, so that's the capture device. We manage it through our computers. We output to either a digital file or a print. If we're shooting for magazines, then that file is going to go out and go to be printed, and we need to make sure that the color is correct in the file that we're producing. So color management, we need to get that definition right. Color space is the term we use to describe the range of color that can be captured or supported by a camera or computer or in a print. And of course the paper is an important factor in how color is going to be managed in this whole process as well. Different papers will be able to capture a different amount or range of color, and the technology in the paper itself is really, really critical in our photography. We have the word gamut there. Gamut is the technical term for the range of color, and that can be our definition of the word gamut, the range of color. So color space, important to understand that term. Color profile, and color profile, the definition is the presets for cameras and computers. That's the definition. We're going to come back and talk about the different profiles. sRGB, standard red, green, blue, is what we need to set on our cameras and our computers for our college work. And don't confuse the term color profile with the print profiles that we set on the printer software when we're printing our work. The print profiles tell the computer, tell the printer what kind of paper we're printing onto. And if you think of this amazing technology, the printer itself is spitting ink onto paper, and the paper's absorbing that ink. If it absorbs too much or too little, that's going to have an impact on the quality of our print. And very often when you have a poor quality print, the profile, the print profile, is the thing that we need to check first of all. Color profile is with what we're thinking about today, so it's a slightly different thing, the preset for cameras and computers. The two color profiles we need to learn are sRGB and Adobe RGB 1998. There are a good deal others out there, but really and truly we need to remember those particular two. Quick visual for you. This is what we're talking about, and if you've not seen this diagram, this horseshoe of color, you're going to see it many times, and the horseshoe itself represents the visible spectrum, and that's why it's that odd shape, ranging from red in the bottom right up to green, violet and blue. And we can see some of the other color spaces that can be set on cameras, computers, here, represented here. Adobe RGB 1998 is a bigger color space than sRGB, standard red, green, and blue, that we can see represented down here. So these are the two that we need to remember: Adobe RGB, standard RGB, and the one that we'll be using in our college work is sRGB. Let's get this out of the way. ICC in color management, an ICC profile is a set of data that characterizes a color input or output device or a color space according to the standards set by the International Color Consortium. So that's what you need to remember: ICC, International Color Consortium. Here's a little kind of visual of that as well. We don't need to linger on that. Okay, so color space or color profile. How much color or what range of color can we capture and manage? There's the visible spectrum that we've just spoken about, and we have that visual that we just saw of the color spectrum that we can actually see with the eyes. But we do need to keep it simple. I'm trying to keep it simple. sRGB for print output, and that's why we have it set for our college work, because we're creating prints on printers here in the college work. But if you're shooting for magazine, editorial work, or for publishing, a recommendation would be to use Adobe 1998 as your color space. Printers and print labs, if you're sending your images out to a print lab to be printed, they're going to use sRGB, standard red, green, and blue. We've got a couple of color science videos for you to look at, and once you finish the video here, please click on those, and again take notes as you go through. They're making comparisons in those videos of different cameras: Sony, Fujifilm, Nikon, and Canon cameras. But please remember that color rendition is not the only thing that a camera does when comparing brands. And I want you to remember in particular the notes that we've covered on this sheet up here. These are the things that I want you to remember today: color management, color space, color profile, and those are the kind of critical things as we go through. The link for these videos is going to be on your email for the day, so you'll be able to go back and just click on that link, and it should take you to the videos. You're going to do those at the end, but I want you to remember these things as well. Note that your camera default should be sRGB, which is fine, but check your camera and your camera manual. So when you get your new camera out of the box, or if you've bought a second-hand camera, it's most likely already set to sRGB. Check your camera manual so that you know how to change the settings. You look in the menus to check where you need to do that, and just double check that your camera is set to sRGB. Your computer and in Photoshop needs to be the same color profile as your camera. If there is a mismatch, Photoshop is going to tell you, and you'll be able to find that. And let's just see. Back to Photoshop here, drop down menu, edit, and if you go down here, convert to profile is give you an opportunity to change the color profile if you need to. But you should be able to just continue working in Photoshop, and it should be fairly streamlined. Another note for today, that light also has an impact on your camera's ability to render color. Does the light itself contain a full spectrum of color? and how much of the physical spectrum is in the light itself. So strobes and the latest continuous lights have a good range of color within the light. But tungsten and fluorescent light does not have a full spectrum. And that's one of the reasons why it's very difficult to get color balance correct if you're using tungsten and fluorescent light. It's not just a simple white balance issue, it's that the light source itself does not contain a full spectrum of light. Also note that the color of daylight changes through the day. In the morning, very, very cool. It goes to a pinkish color and then to orangey yellow light before going into a full kind of spectrum of bright daylight. The Kelvin scale is what we use to measure the color of light, and we've covered that in another class already. I'm not going to linger on that. This video is very limited to the time that we have. But as the day goes on, golden hour, the hour before the sun sets or thereabouts, it's very rich orange color in the light, orange and yellow again. So being aware of the color through the day. On an overcast day, that's going to have a big impact on the daylight and the white color balance of the daylight. And if it's later in the day and it's overcast, you could really struggle with your color at that particular point. So color balance, RGB, CMYK, these two are linked together. I showed you some, let me go back to Photoshop, see if we can go back in here. The color balance tool, image adjustments and color balance. We'll come back and in one of our other assignments we'll look and use this tool again. But on this tool you can see that there's a relationship between cyan, which is this blue-green color, and red. There's a relationship between green and magenta, this pinkish kind of color. There's a relationship between blue and yellow, yellow being a yellowish kind of color. And we can adjust and fine-tune each of these colors to get our image right. Later on, as I say, we're going to have an assignment that is using those tools, and hopefully that'll be a useful tool for you to get color right in your images. It's possible to use the auto color tool, drop down menu, image, auto color, and as I hit that, it can adjust the color. I don't think anything happened in that picture. Let's go to this one, auto color. You can see that it changed the color in this picture. Sometimes it works okay, but it's not really a recommended go-to for you. In the same way that a light meter will average out the light and tell you how to render an image based on the calibration of 18% gray, the auto color tool is going to do a similar kind of thing. And if your image has a huge amount of red in it, for example, it's not going to be able to average that color out correctly for you. So I want to draw your attention to the tool, but know the limitations of that. Okay, have I covered everything that needs to be covered in this lesson plan? I think I've raced through and I'm just in the nick of time. The objective, to give a technical introduction to color, what we need to understand, and what we need to set on our cameras in order to get it right. Later on, we're going to think more about managing our images in Photoshop and how we can calibrate our computer screens to get the best end result. All right. That's it for today. Watch the other two videos. Make sure that you hit reply on my email to me so I know that you're on task at any rate. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.